Welcome on in to the Gamer Sleep podcast. Here we dive into gaming news, pop culture, and just a dab of nonsense every now and then. I'm one of your hosts, Larry, and as always, I'm joined by my two pals, Harry. How are you, sir?
I'm great.
And Aaron. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing fantabulous.
Fantastic, fantastic. So today on the show for you guys, we have a pretty tight show. We're going to be discussing the Sony State of Play from Thursday, May 30th. We're going to be talking a little bit about any kind of Summer Game Fest speculation that we might have. That may or may not be a very deep conversation. But Harry and I want to also dig into our Killer Klowns from Outer Space impressions as we got to play the game in early access, which was a pretty fun time. But before we get into that, how are you guys doing? Harry, how has your week been? What's been new for you?
Uh, Not a lot, just work. Basically, just work.
Work, nightmares, and a little bit of nightclub dancing.
Oh yeah, a little bit of
We
nightclub dancing.
we don't have to get into that. I hear you. I hear you. How about you, Air?
Overtime's been cut, and I have 2 cars with check engine lights on. Life is fantastic.
Living on the edge.
You know it.
Great. We love to teeter on the brink of financial instability. It's a hallmark of living in the USA.
It's the only thing that makes me feel alive anymore.
Sometimes I just want to break things to have to pay for them just to feel something.
I need to be just on the cusp of financial ruin.
My wallet is too thick. I need to spend some money on
It
broken stuff.
yeah, sometimes I find when I sit down and my wallet is just too thick, it's thrown off my spinal alignment, so I need to, have somebody steal my wallet or take my money. So,
I have a Hank Hill butt, so whenever I sit on my wallet, it's bad. So I always front pocket my wallet.
solid sound advice from Harold, gentle listeners. Go front pocket with your wallet, so that way your Hank Hill butts don't. Um, I don't know. Are you talking like? Does your Hank Hill butt just get
It's
like
straight bone. It's straight bone.
it's thin, so it's like yeah, so the wallet just goes to
But
bone.
see, but see, I
Yeah.
I have a Ridge wallet with an air tag, and that's uncomfortable in the back pocket anyway. So
That would make sense. That's a totally metal wallet.
right.
Well, I was gonna say this would be a great segue if we had a Ridge Wallet sponsorship, but Aaron's just
What's up?
talking trash over here.
What's up, Ridge?
Hey,
Yeah,
I like the
we're talking to you.
product. I have it. I keep it. I use it. It's not back
No,
pocketable. It's a front pocket wallet.
no free promotions. So Aaron endorses you without endorsing you.
You know it. Not a
You,
sponsor.
you heard us, Ridge. We know you're listening. All right. Well, let's get on to that first topic then, huh? We're going to be talking Sony State of Play. Of course, we're recording this well after it. A bright and early morning for us here, Saturday, June 1st. But Sony State of Play occurred. General thoughts. What are your feelings about what was presented on the State of Play? Aaron, we can start with you.
Well, I watched it post. I didn't watch it live, but I'm actually really excited about a couple games in there. The new Astrobots game, everyone's excited about that. I think it looks delightful, charming,
Mhm.
and just
Yeah,
really, really well made. Of course,
they seem like they're solid.
I mean, I love the one that came for free on the PlayStation 5. I got the platinum trophy for it.
Mhm.
So, that, granted, that took 8 hours. That's nothing, but
Yeah, it was more like Astro is always kind of like a tech demo, like the beginning stages. You get your console and then you get to play that as like you just opened up your console and you get to play it.
right, with the
So
VR game, with the PlayStation 5 one, they had the other standalone one that's beloved. So that's why people are so excited about it.
yeah,
And honestly,
gone are the days of Sackboy.
I mean, this is Tech Sackboy pretty much. So, but it
Hmm.
was cute in the trailer. Like your spaceship was a PlayStation 5 controller, the mothership was a PlayStation 5. It's like, okay, this is kind of cute.
Yeah,
Like, I'm into it.
yeah. I was seeing the general consensus online was like, hey, people are loving this. I saw a few outliers, which was like, okay, for me, I'm not crazy excited about something like this, but so I might like fall in line with that camp, which is the minority, because everybody else is like, this is one of the only exclusives announced at this state of play, so everybody's complaining anyway. But for it being what it is, folks were like, yes, give us more.
Yeah, but about that, it's like you can't make the internet happy no matter what. If Sony would have had
Mm-mm.
this out and there would have been all exclusives, they would have been like, "Oh, look at Sony bogarting their games and keeping them exclusive and buying up contracts and doing all this." And now
Yeah.
they do one that's a multi-platform state of play, and everyone's like, "Oh, I can't believe there's only one exclusive."
Yeah, Sony people don't like seeing that because they want, obviously the console war mentality of, my console's better than yours, yada yada yada, it just continues. But I think, to me personally, I feel like what they showed was, I don't know, a good range of things.
Exactly, and that's my thing. Even some things that, like, you didn't mention in your show notes, but, like, I think Dynasty Warriors Origins is like, "Alright, I played a lot of Dynasty Warriors 2, 3, and 4 as a kid. This might
Oh,
be a
for sure.
good game to get me back into that franchise after it being so convoluted when you're at, like, Dynasty Warriors, Legends, X."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
even that's a little
And
exciting to me.
I kind of figured, like, hey, do I want to do like a full knockdown, drag out list of like everything that was there, or do I just kind of want to have us talk about the things that were kind of interesting and popped out?
Right.
And like for me, like I saw the Dynasty Warriors, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And like I don't know the target demographic for that. Like I don't know the market for it. I never hear anybody talking about it. So it was like, yeah, cool, it's there.
I mean, that's because Dynasty Warriors is its own genre of game, and it's very, very niche, but I could see why they're
Yeah,
wanting to try to break out of that mindset people
right.
have with their games, try to broaden the audience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. Harry, what are your thoughts about like anything that you caught of the state of play, even post
Uh,
recording?
Monster Hunter Wilds.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That
Looks
I'm
beautiful.
I'm ready for a new Monster Hunter. That's just where I'm at with it.
Simply put, yes. Like that's
Yeah.
kind of how I feel as well. I loved Monster Hunter World. It was my first real introduction to the series where I actually got my hands on it and played myself. And that's, yeah, if this is anything like or better than World, which it looks like it's going to be, then it's going to be a fantastic time to play.
Oh yeah.
What a time to be alive.
I mean, I'm excited because I missed Worlds just by a hair, and I always wanted to get back into Monster Hunter since I played the original on
Oh,
PS2.
yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to this, and I just love that the biggest discourse I've seen online with this trailer is the Palicos talk. And it's like,
Yes.
all right, if
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing people are talking about, this must be pretty good.
Yeah. It was a really fun time. I loved Monster Hunter World. It was deep without being too overwhelming, if that makes any sense. Like I just enjoyed going into different areas and just I would continuously try to tackle monsters like over and over again just to get things. So it was like
Mhm.
I thought it was really well done. It reminded me of things like that I enjoyed about like um Dragon's Dogma, like climbing around on monsters, things like that, and fighting them that way, just done way better. So I mean that was super cool. And I hope they iterate on it even more and refine and brush things up better because all the other Monster Hunter games in the series I feel like have been, you don't you get like good mechanics, but then you don't also get the graphical fidelity aspect. And then Monster Hunter World was like this huge step that took it in
Right.
another category to another
Mhm.
tier. So this is very exciting.
And it also, like, if rumors are true based on what this looks like, is this might be the first Monster Hunter without zones, and it's just a full open world. And if that is the case,
Hmm.
that's like the last real hurdle to me for this to feel like a modern game, like a fully modern
Yeah,
game.
yeah. We're anticipating that it comes out in 2025. Do you guys have any bets on when in 2025? Early, mid, or late, if at
Mid.
all?
I'm gonna say 2025, but this fiscal calendar, so first quarter.
Mm, okay.
That's my guess.
Wow, bold.
Capcom is going to want a big release for this fiscal calendar because other than I think their last one was Street Fighter 6,
Okay.
unless you count like the Resident Evil 4 remake, which I think came out after that, but I'm fuzzy on dates there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a good idea of it, and my gut is like, it's gonna be late.
And I may be wrong. It might turn into a holiday 2025, but
Oh,
Yeah,
so we have a pool now. One thinks early, one thinks mid, one thinks end.
all right,
How much we
yeah,
putting down? What's the
market.
over under?
$50 first quarter. That's my pool bet.
All right, so moving on from Monster Hunter Wild, we got a bunch of stuff for the Silent Hill 2 remake. Aaron, we'll start with you. Sound off a little bit. What do you think about that?
I'm still very hesitant of it. I think the people hating on this trailer are being a little. They want to tear it apart. Like that's what they're there for. I think
Mhm.
yes, the graphic fidelity isn't as good as it could be, but this is a smaller team. They are remaking
It's
Silent Hill
Bloober Team, right?
2, and maybe they're trying to keep it not top of the line graphics to feel more like the original. I don't know, but some of the
Well,
animation looked janky, and not like
well,
janky in the way you'd want a Silent Hill to be. Like you want the shaky, static, weird moving monsters, of course. But
it
yeah.
is also people play Silent Hill. They still play Silent Hill 2 for the story. They don't do it for like the graphics. They're
Right.
playing the PS1 version of it, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, in my
Or
mind, if you're
PS2?
if you're
PS2.
really gonna remake this thing, yeah, it came out in 2001, I think.
Yeah, PS2
It's
era.
not as far back as I thought it was. I thought it was like early, but it's
24
probably
years ago.
shut up. Here's the thing, like when you have a remake like this and you're ditching the fixed camera position, you're going over the shoulder. Uh, I just feel like if you're changing it up that much, you should really have a good focus on you know aspects of the game that make it what it's supposed to be, which is this like nail biting, psychedelic like survival horror type of game. And things that I saw from it where I'm still excited because it's like, hey, I missed the boat on this and I never played it, and I'd like to get my entry into it to kind of really see what this game's about. Because I was in that camp of like, oh, I get one or the other. Is it Resident Evil? It's Silent Hill, and it was Resident Evil for me, right? Now looking at this, I just narrowed my eyes at it. I'm like, that looks suspiciously like Leon Kennedy. It's just like something in the design is a little bit bland right now, and maybe because it's early, there is some polish that's still left to do on it. But as weird as that can be, I'm still optimistic. That it should still be kind of true to its roots.
I I hope it is. Blooper Team does not have a great reputation in the horror game genre for horror game fans.
What else have they done in horror?
I just remember people being mad like they're going to take the psychological horror part out of this horror game and make it just horror.
Okay, all right.
And a lot of Silent Hill fans, like hardcore Silent Hill fans, when they heard it was Blooper Team, like I've lost all hope for this game.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I seeing some of the action, where the protagonist is fighting one of the blind nurses, like one of the monster nurses. The combat looked awkward and janky, and I've seen commentary that's like, "Hey, listen, James is supposed to be um like he's not a good fighter. He doesn't know
Yes.
how to do this, so he's supposed to be really awkward." But there's a way I think to portray that in animation and movements that doesn't look like it's just bad programming.
Right.
And and to me, like, all right, if you want to show an inexperienced person, look at something like Tomb Raider,
Yeah.
right? In the beginning of Tomb Raider, like they showed a way of making the personality of the person be like, whoa, 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 I don't know what the hell's happening here.
Yeah.
And you're really unsure of yourself and you're not sure what to do. Where this just seemed like it was just an intentional clunkiness. Well, I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Mhm.
And it's hard to say with people saying that James is supposed to be like an inexperienced, combative, not a combative person. Yeah, they're right, but are they just pulling at straws or hoping it's still good? Or are they actually seeing it what it's for, which is bad animation?
Keep the
Yeah.
Doge ending, and I'm sold.
Oh yeah. So you're in on it no matter what, Harry.
The dog ending
Okay.
is my favorite. So
Gotcha. Okay. Now we're expecting this on October 8th, 2024. So right in time for spooky season, which should be pretty fun as long as it doesn't slip.
So
And that's going to be
they've got a
go ahead.
whopping 4 months for polish.
Yeah. I mean, you're pretty much they got to be kind of done at this point. So I'm hoping that it's a good quality title for them. You know, it's if Bloober Team doesn't have a really good rep for this, then that's a shame. But hopefully they can pull it together. And listen, if it gets delayed, you know, for some reason, which I don't see happening based on, you know, the IP and what this is, unless it was in like a real nightmare mode, like where it's just totally development hell. But I haven't heard anything about that. So no rumor mill talking about that at all. So that's just really, again, the pessimist in me saying like, okay, this is going to be delayed, whatever this is promised.
Yeah. It just we'll see. This is a big wait and see title. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'd still like to play it regardless. I just don't know, you know, depending on the slate of what's out, you know, will this game take a backseat, you know, or for fans of this series, you know, I know that there's probably a good fan base for it. Um, are other fans of the series also going to be cautious about it, or is this a day one purchase for them too? So that's what's cool. I'm going to keep my eye on it.
definitely one to watch.
Hmm. Yeah. Moving on from there, I was really intrigued with more Path of Exile 2 news. So all the crosses you can possibly get, cross play, cross progression, the cross save aspect, um, and couch co-op being announced for Path of Exile 2. That game looks beautiful. I mean, I love that it's multi-platform, so it's not going to be some exclusive. Even Xbox went on to tweet about it afterwards, so that was really nice to see. Um, and you know, it's a Diablo like. It's separate whole thing, of course. I don't want to just say it's one is biting off the other or vice versa. But your thoughts on that? What are you thinking about Path of Exile? Something you would play?
I didn't play the first one very much. So
Mm,
I
same.
I never touched the first one, but just looking at their site, I want to play this.
Yeah, yeah. The first one, like to me, was like a proving ground, and it didn't catch me. But this looks like wonderful.
I
This looks
mean,
smooth. It looks beautiful.
it looks smooth, looks beautiful. I like the fact that they're saying 12 classes for like
Hmm.
different. That's like, okay, there's going to be a lot of variety, which is nice compared to Diablo, which always starts with like 4 or 5, and it's like not that that's not
Yeah,
enough, it's just it's nice to see more variety.
yeah. This is something I would like to see us be able to play together.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah.
I may
Yeah.
give it a shot. But you guys know me. I'm mostly like first or third person. The like overview kind of stuff is not really my cup of tea. With the slight like you know occasional exception.
Sure. Sure. This is one of those things where it has that, Dungeons and Dragons, RPG aspect that I feel like appeals to you, where you
Hmm.
can have a class and you can work through that class, things like that. So, you know, with the style of gameplay aside, like I feel like it's like if it was a different style of game, like if this was first person, like Avowed, like I feel like you'd be all over it, for example.
Yeah.
But like where Baldur's Gate is a little bit more clunky, a little slower. I won't say clunky, that's the wrong word.
Wrong with
Like
yeah.
Baldur's Gate, yeah, absolutely wrong word. Like that makes it sound terrible. Um, like Baldur's Gate is a little more meaty. Like I feel like that's a little too slow for you. Like you need more action, and I think that this would kind of do it.
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
I could
Okay.
yep.
I'd be interested to see you try it out to see if you like it.
The way you explain that, it gave me a question I wanted to ask. Like,
Yeah.
you're not really familiar with D&D, are you, Larry?
No, no, not
Okay.
like crazy. No.
Okay, so this would be like an Aaron question because I play some D&D, Aaron plays D&D.
Yep.
Yep.
When you are playing, do you picture your character overview, like the whole scene is an overview, or do you picture yourself over the shoulder? You playing your character in your head over the shoulder? Or am I just dumb and like my ADHD does that?
When it comes to D&D, honestly, I try to get more into the character, so I almost try to picture it first person, but most of the time when I'm thinking about what I'm doing, I am thinking isometric. because
Okay,
it's
okay,
how
yeah.
the map is displayed by the
Mhm.
DM
Yeah.
typically itself. So I'm kind of pushed into that realm when it comes
Yeah.
to drawing parallels with these games and D&D.
I thought that would be a neat question to ask right there. It's like in your head how you play like a tabletop
Right.
version of it.
Because these Path of
Yeah.
Exiles, Diablos, Dungeon Crawlers are very, very much majorly influenced by Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep.
Like, end of story. Like, it
Yeah, I
is
agree.
an action form of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
And that's the thing about bringing up Baldur's Gate versus this. It's like, well, you're talking about a turn-based tactical versus an action hack and slash.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's where it is like the action aspect of it, just how fast it is might be something that could work in your favor of being like, "Hey, this satisfies the need for action, but still has the classes and the leveling up, things like that we can find fun." Um, just in the sense of playing as a party too,
right.
where we kind of get to do different things and have fun with that. That's where I'm like, "Hey, I can envision us kind of
Mhm.
chilling, hanging out, playing that too."
I mean,
We're expecting that at the end of 2024.
yeah.
I don't know anything about where they're at in development, but or where it's gonna release first, but
I mean, I'll probably play this on PC because these always feel like more like PC games for me.
yeah, yeah. I'll probably
Yeah.
play console just so that I can have a stable experience.
Fair. But I'm excited for this.
It might not be that graphically heavy.
Maybe not. I mean, but looking at the video, I mean, it's probably cranked up to its best possible visual fidelity on the
Mhm.
video, and it's gorgeous. And I would want to play it either so that it works so smoothly and I don't have to
Mhm.
worry about it, like, or otherwise play it at the best possible fidelity I can get.
Well, there are some games out there that are like really beautiful that have like almost no graphical drain off your computer. It's crazy
Yeah.
how some companies can do that, but then you get like Call of Duty that's got like one map and it's like, oh nope, 118 gigs, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of my concerns. So as we draw closer, I'll pay attention to like what the specs are, what the requirements are, and kind of make my decision, partially off of with crossplay it doesn't matter, but I would like to end up getting it where like you guys get it, so that way it's just easier. It's that much easier for us to play together, something like that.
That's true. I'll have to keep that in mind as well because the specs have been released for Path of Exile too. If you want to look those up anytime. Not saying now or on
Oh,
the
cool.
show, but they are out there.
Yeah. Okay.
So we can make the determination from that, and we can figure out where we want to play. Because I would love to have a group game.
Hmm.
Yes, group games are fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, those are I mean, those are the things that stood out for me, and Harry, you hit the nail on the head with Monster Hunter Wild, Silent Hill 2 remake, and of course, Path of Exile 2. Was there anything else that stood out for you guys
What
with
about
that state of play?
what about the Alien IP in there?
I didn't get to see anything about it because I didn't watch the whole state of play. I just did an overview.
The Alien game on State of Play, I believe that is a
That's a
VR horror game.
yeah. I didn't know if it was like VR or not. I just saw your shirt and I was like, there was something alien on there, wasn't it?
It
Yeah.
is a PlayStation VR game, and that
Well, at least
sounds
they're supporting it a little bit.
terrifying.
Man, I want to play Alien VR. That'd be so great.
Alien Isolation in VR would be ridiculous.
I
That game was
mean,
terrifying.
if the rumor mill is true about the PlayStation VR, people have done some digging, and it seems like Sony is working on a PC adapter for it. And if they make a PC adapter for it, that makes it much, much more versatile and makes it a much
Sure.
more tempting purchase for someone like me. If I can connect it
Yeah.
to my PC and my PlayStation and use it both places,
Yeah.
now I'm an interested buyer.
That would
Sony
really
joining the
yeah.
PC market? Is it the end of the world?
That's crazy too. I mean, what I've seen online, especially like I caught a few tweets from like Ryan McCaffrey talking about PSVR. Like, he hasn't touched he's an Xbox guy, but he still has a PSVR. He was talking about like how he hasn't touched it and he feels terrible about like the fact that he's got it. And there's like nothing in support for it. Almost like feels like PlayStation's abandoned it. If they do put out a PC adapter and allow it to be used that way, that's fantastic news.
Right, because the thing about that's unfortunate is people feel like what you've stated, but all the
Yeah.
reviews for the PSVR is like it's an amazing piece of hardware. Like it's an
Yep.
extremely good headset, and it's a shame that
Mhm.
it's not being utilized.
Right. Speaking of VR, have you guys seen the videos for that? I forget what the damn game is called, but I've seen a lot of viral videos for this
Yeah.
VR game with the skull.
Yeah.
It's like the Wizard's
Yeah.
Tower or something like that. I forget. Hilarious. Like I'd want a VR just to like mess around with that game because
Me and my wife talk about it all the time. We like send each other the TikToks of it. Don't
yeah,
throw me out that window.
everybody's throwing the skull out of the wee. It's just abuse of of this little skull in the game. Ah, man, I can't.
My
Aaron, you're
favorite
probably looking it up right now, aren't you?
my favorite's the trumpet. He's like, "A trumpet," and he, like, does it again. "I already told you what that is." Smack, 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 smack.
Or throwing the skull to the set of armor that catches him and throws him back. That's always that like there's like all kinds of fun stuff that you can do with that and
Or
just
putting him in the
wandering around.
putting him in the cauldron.
Yeah. All right, what's the name of that game?
Waltz
Did you look that up?
Waltz of the Wizard.
Oh, yeah,
Waltz of
yeah.
the Wizard. Okay. It was just something totally off. That name to me is like totally off the walls considering what it is.
That's a Quest 3, like, a launch game, wasn't it?
I think
Oh,
so, but it
maybe.
looks like there's a lot more to it than just what's been in TikToks. Because I'm seeing a guy with a hand crossbow shooting in things, coming, exploring
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
areas.
there's
Like,
a lot.
seems pretty cool, and it's only a $20
and
game.
and you can voice activate. You can be like, "Give me a sword," and it's like, "Okay." A sword appears in your hand.
Yeah. I saw another one where the the guy recording it was looking off to the left and there was this trap door in the floor and some dude was popping his head out of the out of the trap door and like looking around. He wasn't saying anything, but he's like, "Mm." And the wizard, he just decides that he's like, all right, I'm gonna throw fireballs at you, and he starts throwing fireballs at this dude, and it just kills him, and he falls down the stairs backwards through the trap door. Like, just what is the chaos in this game? I didn't expect to talk about this, but you guys talking about VR and stuff like that made me think of it instantly. So
I mean, I've always wanted a
Right.
VR headset.
It could be fun, you know. I'm not like on board either. I think I kind of Harry, you just did the little you know.
I have one. It's okay. I mean, if you like, you're really bored and you're like, "I could play this game that has a lot of substance on my console or my PC, or I can just jump in for some nonsense on the VR."
Hmm.
There's nothing like there's games now that they have like VR versions of where like Resident Evil, they have more story-based games. Like I would like to get some of those, but also right now the Quest 2 that I have is kind of like a dinosaur because they're making games for the Quest 3 and on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's my big
Okay.
hang up. It's a very expensive price tag for a piece of hardware that I may not use much, and that's a hard sell.
Well, I luckily have children who love to play with it, so it was a win-win in my situation.
That's fair. That's a good point. You have other use cases. For me, it might just be a fancy paperweight.
Dust it off. I mean, you could use it for other things, be more tactical with your wanks.
No. No, I'm good. I'm good on that. I don't need that realm.
Oh God.
It does have hand tracking, so it might rat you out.
Bonk, man. Bonk.
Big bonk.
It does happen, man. There are apps that you can put anything on there and people will watch
Moving
it.
on to the next topic. Guys, what are you thinking about the upcoming Summer Game Fest? And obviously we got the Xbox showcase that's going to come up too. Are there any things that you guys want to touch on that, you know, you're looking forward to?
What's even rumored for this showcase? Because I'm kind of behind on the times when it comes to Microsoft and their announcements.
No, I'm with you there. Like I was looking things up, and it feels fairly obtuse to kind of look in. Like, all right, Summer Games Fest, what's it gonna be? Right, we're gonna get a bunch of announcements from different um, developers and publishers. Right, we're gonna get these sizzle reels. We're gonna get all kinds of stuff. We're gonna get updates for different games that are out there. Um, and like one that comes to the top of my mind, right? For instance, totally forgot about the game, but saw something about it in my travels, like Clockwork Revolution. Like kind of excited about what's going to happen with this new Ken Levine game, right? Um, but in terms of you know what I have going into this is kind of like, all right, just surprise me.
All right, so you're just wanting to be surprised more than
Yeah,
anything.
like I didn't dig too far into Summer Games Fest because it's just like one of those things where I want to watch it and be like, that I didn't expect, or oh, I did realize, hey, we're going to get some more about it. And I'm glad we did. Or
Yeah.
I want to find out, hey, where's the vacuum of information? What did we not hear about that
It's
we
like
knew about prior to?
it's like the whole department store full of toys before Christmas effect, like you're seeing it as it's there on display.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I want to be able to talk about more of that on the show for people, for folks who might not either know too much about it or maybe they have a lot of thoughts about it. And I want to share that too. But maybe it's more of a review. Hey, this is the standout stuff that we had after kind of checking out the different aspects and avenues of Game Fest because there's a lot that's going on with it. It's not
Yeah.
all just one day, but it is
And it,
spread out quite
it
a
is
bit.
very hard to speculate when we don't have like an inside source.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. But the
Yeah.
rumors always start early in the gaming industry. So I just wondered if there was like anything that's, oh, we think this team might announce XYZ, like
well, I
Hmm.
mean,
Hmm.
a lot of it is still just speculation. You're like, oh, this team's involved. Oh, maybe they're doing this. And then you know how it is on like social media and stuff. Like you go on like TikTok and you have like 50 videos where people are sure the sun is fake right now. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt, and it's funny too because one of the other things that not that I'm personally vested in it or interested, but you got that Lego Horizon game that it's set to be something that's discussed, and somebody used AI to post a Lego Horizon adventure like image, and at
Mhm.
first glance I was like, oh man, that's different, that's weird because it's like Aloy in full height, not like Lego-fied, but she's like full height person Lego-fied. So it was like, that's really weird that they're deviating from like short little Lego person style to this. And upon further inspection, zooming in, totally can tell that it's AI. And everybody in the comments is like, fuck you, stop using AI, motherfucker.
yeah, AI is gonna make the future of game rumors and leaks really hard to parse for some people.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's going to make. I think it is making. It is currently making this stuff. Have you seen some of the weird movie posters that look almost real on like Facebook and stuff
Sure.
like that?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah,
all
on the one
true.
hand, I on the one hand, I love seeing good alternate arts, for movie posters and things like that, but then it's like, how many times am I gonna get duped by something?
And AI is crazy, man. Like 3 years ago, Will Smith eating spaghetti, like horribly bad AI, and now it's like, oh
Yeah.
my god, this is like an actual movie. What's going
Or
on?
like the pizza commercial too.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why AI is kinda terrifying, but, I could also see companies using this to their advantage of, "Hey, we can flood the market with fake information to throw people off of what's true, so people can't tell if a leak's real." Very cheap, very quickly,
Mhm.
and, bury the lead by just oversaturation of information. And I wonder
Yeah.
if they'll use it that way. Like, "Hey, let's just make up 6 different AI games and flood the market with this information. One of them might be real."
Yeah. One of them. We don't know which card is the ball under.
Right. But I'm excited about Summer Games Fest. Just this, as of right now, to me, this seems like an off year.
Oh yeah. You can definitely feel it in the gaming atmosphere. It is definitely like not as exciting as previous years.
I
Like it,
mean, it's gonna take a
Well,
lot to live up to 2023 as being regarded as one of the best game release years in a decade.
yeah,
Like,
I definitely feel like some of that comes down to the personal involvement as well. Like the three of us are consumers that are not on the inside whatsoever, so the excitement of like driving towards an event, whether we're concentrating on one specific conference day or multiples, whatever it might be, that's what makes it difficult. And I think that's part of like what we do and how it relates to like folks who just want to listen to us. You know, like Sean, shout out to you, man. Thank you for listening. Like Sean was like, "Hey, I just wait for you guys to tell me what's up." And that's like kind of that weird in between because we're not insiders, but we are enthusiasts, right? Just like
right.
anybody else might be, right?
Mm.
Um, and that's what's tricky because I see what you mean. I feel it too, where it's like, all right, what's the temperature of this, right? Is it really a worthwhile thing to get excited about right now? And I think that some of that is like a little bit of exhaustion, like a little bit of like jadedness because it's like, all right, we kind of know what's up without being able to pinpoint all the individual things concisely into one like little neat tucked in show. But at the same time, like when we see, different tentpole things being announced or brought up into social media, things like that, that's when it perks our ears up and we say, all right, this is what we want to pay attention to and this is what we want to bring to you guys as the listeners, just saying like, hey, we like this, we think you might too.
Right. And and that's what you kind
You know?
of have to do, especially in this day and age of the gaming market is vast nowadays. There
Yes.
is
It's
so
like
much.
it's overload.
And back in the early 2000s, even the early 10s, it was very easy to be like, yeah, I'm going to be well rounded and up to date on most things. And nowadays,
yeah,
you cannot do that. You have to be a little, not niche, but use your personal preference, play what you want, and talk about that.
Mhm.
It'd be like,
If
and
you want, yeah, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, it'd be like trying to say at any time in our lives of, hey, this guy's the music reviewer for our site, and he reviews all releases. It's like, no, you don't. Of course you don't.
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah,
Now, I've got the schedule of Summer Game Fest pulled up. I mean,
Ooh.
it's expansive. It's expansive. So it's pretty darn big. I'll read through it, kind of give you the dates and what the conferences are. And maybe this will help for any listeners who want to tune into any specific day too, to kind of keep themselves informed on the stuff that they like. But the Game Fest schedule for 2024 starts off on Thursday, June 6th with the Gorilla Collective. And that's East Coast time is what I'll report it on is 1 p.m. June 7th, Accessibility Summer Showcase, and that's 11 a.m. East Coast time, which is cool. All of this is going to be streamable, so you get to just find it on social media, which is great. Um, then the conference for also on Friday, June 7th, Summer Game Fest 2024. This seems like it's just like a generic like main conference that starts at 5 p.m. East Coast time. Um, June 7th at 8 p.m., you got the Devolver Direct. Devolver's always fun to tune into because they have such cool games like and such good personality to it. So that would be that would be fun to tune into. And then on Saturday, June 8th, Future of Play Direct. Are you excited for that?
it's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday in the
Woo!
future. East Coast time, 11 p.m. So that's a late one. June 8th, 12 a.m. That's crazy timing. Wholesome Direct is happening. Um, and then at 1 p.m. on June 8th, you've got the Latin America Games Showcase. Uh, June 8th, East Coast time, 2:30 p.m. You got the woman-led Games Summer Games Fest. So cool to see representation there. The Future Games Show is also happening 3 p.m. East Coast time on June 8th. It's weird the times on this. Polygon, way to go. I'm referencing your website, and you've got it all out of order, so it's wild. Uh, Sunday, June 9th, Xbox Game Showcase. That's fun for me. I'm interested in seeing what the business is going to do there, and that'll be at 12 p.m. Eastern time. June 9th, PC Gaming Show. You're going to have that at 4 p.m., which to me, PC and Xbox goes kind of hand in hand, but obviously you're going to get some different stuff out of that. and then Ubisoft Forward on Monday, June 10th, and that'll be at 3 p.m. So lots of different times and dates to kind of parse through and figure out, hey, what do I want to watch when, and what highlights do I pay attention to?
Not to mention, separate from Summer Games Fest, we're probably gonna get another State of Play from Sony, and we're probably gonna get a Nintendo Direct.
Right,
So,
because they always do their own things.
because Nintendo Direct, are we gonna see Switch 2?
Right.
I'm
I
I'm
mean, this would be the time to announce it, if anything, but they might hold their cards close to their chest still.
They might, I'm just excited for the summer season news drop. Can't call it E3 anymore, because rest in peace, or good
Right.
riddance, depending on your viewpoint. But
What what Nintendo's gonna do is they're gonna make like a little circle gaming console that goes on a watch band, and it's gonna be called Nintendo Swatch.
womp womp. Jesus.
I love seeing the light go out of Larry's eyes when I make dumb jokes.
You see, the thing is, I love them, so, like, I might roll my eyes or go dead, but it's awesome. I appreciate them, because without that, there's no humor.
Ugh.
Alright. So, I guess, like, alright, this is what our show was. It's kind of preparatory, like, generic, "Hey, guys, we don't know what's going on with Summer Games Fest. We're gonna pay attention to what's happening, and we'll review it, and tell you what we care about, as the next show gets recorded, or beyond that,
But if
because
you work
we'll have a lot to talk about."
Oh god, that's the
but if you
next show. It feels like Summer Game Fest feels like it's months away, and I just realized it's next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
but if you guys work for the industry and are part of the Discord, we would love to talk to you.
Some insider
Yeah.
information would be great.
Yeah, Andre, I know you're not listening to this because 'cause you're too busy working, but yeah, hit me up. Um, cool. Let's move on to that next topic. And Aaron, I know that you don't have a lot of firsthand experience, so you get to kick back, put your feet up, pet the cat, and Harry and I will go so far in depth that you're going to actually see the pixels
Mhm,
for
mhm.
Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game.
Yeah. Oh
I
god,
wanted to give I want to give a pregnant pause there because I wanted to see how Harry would react to the space and time in which I wasn't speaking.
I
We
I
got
had
it.
to bring the Google doc up, and it, like, blinded me.
I know you actually I saw like the radiation hit your face. All right, so we were pretty excited about Killer Klowns from Outer
Oh,
Space,
yeah.
the game. Um, the movie is terribly good, and like it's just an awful campy movie. Everybody hates clowns, and in this case, these are very hateable clowns. They're also like super like still kind of lovable, man. Like you look at them, and it's just funny horror. It's it's
Yeah.
it's cool stuff for
It's
anybody
like
that's not
Chucky.
familiar. Yeah, I think it's actually even more playful than Chucky. Like,
Yeah.
Chucky still has, like, a horror that really scares people. Killer Clowns don't scare anybody, I don't think.
I'm
At
trying to
least in
think
context.
I'm trying to think of, like, another, uh, IP that does, like, humor.
Gremlins
Like,
2.
we got Gremlin oh, Leprechaun. Leprechaun.
Yeah. Yeah, Leprechaun is another one. No, imagine an asymmetrical Leprechaun game.
That'd be hilarious. They'd actually have to get Warwick Davis to voice Leprechaun, though. That's the only way I'm playing it, because that's
I
my
feel like
man's.
I feel it could happen. It could happen.
Oh, the
Man,
Leprechaun movie.
you bringing up Warwick Davis, I'm just mad that they took Willow off of streaming because I
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
be able to watch it, and I never got to. So, pour one out for our dude, Warwick. Um All right, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. For anybody who's not paying attention to it at all, asymmetric game. Think of Dead by Daylight, Friday the 13th, Evil Dead. Um, is your typical like team versus team. So in this case, you've got three killer clowns that will try to kill off a team of 7 humans.
Mhm.
Who the humans, their objective is to A, survive, but B, escape by many different means. So Harry, kind of give me your overall reception of the game, like what your thoughts are, and then we can dive into like what you like
It's
about it and what you didn't.
Positive, but with reservations.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, tell me what you enjoyed about it.
Obviously, I love the IP to begin with. I'm a killer. Like, it's one of my favorite. Like, I love campy movies, and like
Yeah.
if they're obscure campy movies, that makes it even better for me. Like, you got that, like Hobo with a Shotgun and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. Do you
But
have a favorite killer clown?
my favorite Killer Clown's not in here. It's JoJo, but
Oh, that's the big one, right? That's
yeah,
the big,
JoJo the
like,
Clownzilla. Yeah,
boss. Yeah, yeah.
but he's
Okay.
not in that. But I don't know. I don't know. Out of the three they put in there, I don't know.
Okay.
Tiny, tiny.
Well, I
I don't know.
like Shorty, you mean?
Yeah, Shorty.
They don't
Shorty.
really tell you the names, so you'd have to look them
Yeah,
up. If you watch Killer Clowns, you're never gonna know the names of the clowns. You'd have to actually look it up and, like, dive into it because, like, Shorty is the one with the boxing gloves, and he's
yeah.
just hilarious. Like, I think what a different personality. Who the hell thought of making the clown cute, but
Joe.
also murderous?
It's Joe
Uh,
Pesci in clown form.
and I like Jumbo too myself.
Yeah, Jumbo.
Jumbo's cool.
The abilities are
Uh,
neat. They have like a stalker class. They have like just like a regular go out and get. You know, it's fine. Like I do
mhm.
enjoy the game. It is very fun. Like the concepts of it were like, oh, you got to hang them up. You get 16. You can get the clown apocalypse to happen faster. So they give
Yeah.
you alternative routes, and like it didn't feel too buggy. The gameplay didn't feel too buggy. Uh, but I will get to the stuff that makes me kind of on it. It seems like playing as the clowns, they gave you like a huge disadvantage in some points. Like just like the cotton candy gun, it took forever, and if they turned a corner or anything like that, it like reset.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, you know what? Actually, I feel like I know what you're talking about, and I noticed that the drain, like how fast the cotton candy wears off, it's
Hmm.
pretty darn quick. But it didn't start from 0, and I paid
Yeah,
attention to that as I practiced. But no, I get you. There was, like, that I feel like that needs to kinda stick a little bit longer because
or
it's
be
cotton candy.
faster, because
Yeah,
in the movie it was just like almost instant.
yeah, yeah. Now, I will tell you, like, I don't know how much more you played. We got to play a few rounds together, and did you go beyond that? Did you play any on your
Yeah,
own?
I played. You told me I could kind of cheese it a little bit and learn the maps and like by
Mhm.
myself. I did
Yeah,
some of that.
I did the same.
Um, I still think there needs to be a bit more balancing that needs to be done to the game.
Sure. In on that vein, like, I feel that when playing as humans, it's a very weird thing. Like, anytime I play as a human, the clown team is like, I'll quote somebody else, unknown person on the internet, it's like I'm going against SEAL Team 6,
Yeah.
and vice versa. When I'm playing as a clown, like, I feel like I'm just underpowered going against humans. It's very weird.
Well, we're
But I guess this is the Dead by Daylight dynamic is how it
yeah,
goes.
we're both minimally acknowledged have like minimal time with Dead by Daylight or anything like that before this.
Mhm. Mhm.
So the whole concept of like, okay, well, I have to trigger this event to get this exit. That is still kind of a foreign concept to us.
Okay.
You're right, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause I was gonna ask because I actually have played a fair amount of Dead by Daylight, and I was wondering if you guys have, but clearly not, which is fine. It was the IP that brought you the genre, not the genre. So,
Yeah.
Right. And in Dead by Daylight, I'm fairly familiar because, I did play a bit of it and enjoyed playing as killer, but I understand with survivors in Dead by Daylight, it's a little simple in the sense that you're just repairing generators. Uh, you know what I mean? You're doing that, of course, you're running away from a killer, but, like, that's the idea. You're repairing generators to open up the exit,
yeah.
right? So it's kinda straightforward. With Killer Clowns, where I find that it's a little tough as a survivor, even though there's more survivors, you're on a team of 7, it's still tricky because you need to explore the map and
Mhm.
find items. Like, for example, there's a clown apocalypse bunker that you can escape into, right? You need to find gas for the generator that powers the bunker, and then you need to find the key card or that
Mhm.
bunker to open the door. But you also need to remove cotton candy from the door, which can be reapplied by the clowns.
Yeah.
So there are 3 things you need to do in order to get that bunker going. And even when you open that bunker, it can only take 3 people,
Mm.
like 2 or 3 people. So and the door also only stays open for a little bit once you opened it. So if you
Yeah.
just go in there by yourself, that door closes if somebody else doesn't get in there, and then that's done. You gotta, like, have to now find a different way to get out. And there's typically gonna be things like a boat for escape, the bunker for escape, some kind of a walkway or path or bridge for escape.
Mhm.
Um, and there might be other means of escape, but they can usually only take 2 or 3 people out any particular way. And I've not really gotten anywhere close. Like, I got fairly close one match where I was gonna use the path to get out. I found the key, um, but then I was like, "Okay, cool, I can unlock this." Couldn't use the key because I needed to break down boarded up wood for some reason on this escape path, and the weapon that I had, I think it was a bat, could only give like 2 hits to it. So when I hit it, it made noise. The clowns came after me, and that was that. Like, I couldn't escape them and get away and actually do anything.
Yeah.
So it got a little frustrating because it wasn't like you and me playing together, Howard, where like we can run off together and kind of like formulate a plan. I was kind of playing by myself, so there wasn't any kind of cohesion. And that's a little bit frustrating because there's more intricacy to that than being able to get out on your own.
Yeah.
So you really do have to work together. So that's like a pro, but it's also a con a little bit in terms of the experience of playing as a survivor.
I think here's some changes I think need to be made. I think they need to have like a more vast um inventory system, or have like one slot by itself that is your weapon, and then do like a 4 or 5 slot like how they have, because a weapon taking up a whole slot is kind of pointless if you need to do like actions and you're playing by yourself. Like say you're the last one on the map and you have like a 3-part action, and like, okay, this is the other side of the map. I can grab it and bring it with me and then drop it when I'm here, but then you have to go back for it
Hmm.
because you want to pick up an axe in case like one of the clowns comes up on you and then they hit you with a cotton candy gun and you use that axe to get out. And but then that axe is gone.
Right.
It's just like,
Yeah. You use like your knife or an axe, like a sharp object gets you out of a cocoon, but it's gone once you use it. And now you just have to go hunt around the map,
for another
to
weapon.
find something very randomly. Like it's very tricky in that sense. I will say I've had fun with like allowing a clown to just like cocoon me, and they're like, "Ha," uh, you know, like so confident that they've got me. And one of the things is like you can pick up those cocoons and throw them really far, so that way you can just as a clown you can run faster. And they'll throw me like half the map away, and then I just escape and get away, and then they're probably so pissed off on the other end. So like I
Mhm.
love that. Um, but at the same time, it's like it's frustrating, like the survivor aspect of it. It's not the same as Dead by Daylight, though. Like, I do
No.
feel like the complexity makes things for clowns just as tricky because as a survivor, you're not just going to the same spot. You're going all over the place, and I find benefit there because you're not going to be necessarily tunneling and following the same survivor all over the place. Everybody's going buck wild everywhere, and that's good. That's good for the game.
You run from the clowns, you crouch, and then you find a nice bush.
Hmm.
That's like that's meta on that game right now.
But I mean, like, even then, like, you can like clowns have a jump ability. So from the movie, you see this when Shorty like hops in and then punches a guy's head off. But you have this teleport jump that is available to you, and when you go into this teleport jump, you're able to see the entire map as long as it's not covered by like the fog of war,
Mhm.
and you get to see like different areas where the escapes are, things like that, and you can just kind of teleport, and then there's like a 3 or 4 second animation that plays, so you're not just running right after someone if you happen to surprise them. But you can see people on the map. Harry, did you notice whether you can see players on the map, or was it just the
I've seen players on it,
lackeys?
yeah.
You've
I've
seen
seen
players on
players.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's like kind of a way for clowns to get around and see
Yeah.
survivors
I
where otherwise they can be all over the place.
when we had that bot lobby, like
Yeah.
when it was me and you versus the bots, I had one right in front of me running back and forth, so I went into that and checked if I could see them.
Okay.
You can see them.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. So that's interesting. But if they're in the fog of war, you're not gonna be able to see them, of course.
Yeah.
But I thought that's a good benefit for clowns, for instance, and getting into new weapons too was nice. Like playing a couple of the practice rounds, being able to see the maps. Like I got the popcorn bazooka, which I think is getting nerfed, and then what else? I got the balloon dog, so I started using the balloon dog a little bit, which was fun. Just a tracker though, so you just have to. It gives you an arrow to kind of tell you, hey, there's a cocoon or a survivor in the general direction, and the balloon
Mhm.
dog barks when it's close to uh, like opponents and stuff like that, which is fun. Um, popcorn bazooka was pretty neat. The penta shot was pretty cool too. Much stronger, but difficult to kind of hit with.
Mhm.
A lot of times I find survivors are smacking you as a clown, so you guys are kind of like we're like doing this dance where you're super close to each other, missing and swinging and hitting.
Mm.
Like it's kind of chaotic in that sense.
That's one thing I did when we were playing together. I said they need to adjust the hitboxes just a little bit to make it more like contactful.
Yeah, yeah. I can't tell if I was hitting anything, and I just kind of
Yeah.
felt like I was getting clobbered. The stun durations were wild as a clown getting stunned. Um, but I mean, I guess you kind of need that because, like, yeah, I want to be OP when I'm playing as a clown, but I also don't want a clown to be OP against me.
I
So
think
it's a
that
fine balance.
I think that like the axes, the metal pipes and stuff, those should not have like a durability on them. But I also think that clowns should take more than 3 hits to be killed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get that. I mean, if you're getting critted, if you're getting hit in the nose,
Yeah, I mean, if you hit him in the nose, like, do a crit, yeah, that's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. So like that's the thing. Like I definitely scared some clowns off when I had a gun. It was cool to feel strong like that. I had a handgun, and I just had this clown that was like, I was like, "That's right, bitch." Which was a cool dynamic. That was pretty fun. So like overall, I feel like, hey, this is a pretty darn cool game, which can get better with time. Um, if it's for me, I tend to shy away from playing competitive style games, which I already came across some sweats just in the first hour of the game being on,
That's
Oh my
and
sad.
god, dude.
just had to turn that voice over IP off. Like, I think no, Harry, you weren't on with me when I came across it, but it was literally like,
I know we
uh,
did because we were, like, sitting there, it's like, "Man, they are getting people left and right."
yeah, no, absolutely. There was that, like, we were together, but, like, I had a match that literally it was the first match I played, I think, so it's brand new for most people, and the clowns wiped out the survivors very quickly, and just the person goes on to the lobby chat, after the game, is like, "You guys fucking suck. Oh, you're terrible. Ugh." And it's just like, "Alright, man.
Game
Cool."
just came out, bro.
Yeah, like, alright, cool. So that was like you're gonna get that kinda stuff, people being competitive. Um But then, like, the other side of things is like, just needed to turn off that chat because when I heard a
Yeah.
squeaky voice on there, I was like, "Okay, alright, let's mute this
Yeah.
so I don't have to hear anything."
Yeah, we definitely turned it off. That was probably for the best.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be fun for a private match because that proximity chat's kind of fun where you can kind of, like, chuckle at each other because 'cause you're running away from each other, stuff like that. I had fun letting myself enjoy even if I was losing, like, where I'm just, like, laughing, like, "Oh, fuck, get away from me. Leave me alone." And that's a feeling that I haven't had for a while because even playing a little bit of Dead by Daylight, it wasn't fun. It was
Mhm.
too sweaty. It was like people trying too hard or complaining. And I feel like it's gonna get that way with main release once it comes
Mhm.
up for people who do jump into this because they want to get away from Dead by Daylight and maybe master another style to kind of fill the void of Friday the 13th or like I guess what Texas Chainsaw Massacre should be. We'll see how they handle it. The devs seem to be communicating a lot, about what they're doing. So
It
yeah,
was it was definitely fun. I'm gonna be playing it some more.
yeah, Absolutely. I wouldn't mind playing more too. I just feel like it's gonna take a long time to get better as a survivor.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I'll be happy to play as a clown all the time because I just think it's fun. But as people get better at being survivors, like it's gonna be tough to also match that as a clown unless things get a little easier for clowns.
Yeah. I think finding out what does what is going to be the biggest part of it.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Aaron, so how much of this washed over you,
Uh,
and how much of this like resonates and makes you think about it?
I mean, I'm not big on this genre as a whole. Like, yeah, I played probably 40, 50 hours of Dead by Daylight and bounced off. So
Mhm.
the genre doesn't really pull me in. The IP doesn't really pull me in.
Okay.
So this might just be one that's not really for me. But when it comes to games like this, I'm always concerned when it's like we're choosing this IP to make this kind of how long of legs can they really have when they run out of source material? Are they going to start making new clowns, original clowns, new weapons? Like, at what point do you run out of fumes to run on? And I feel
I
like,
like
Right.
Dead by
see me.
Daylight gets away from that because they're like, oh, we can just sign another license with another horror franchise, and boom, here's a new monster. I mean, they
See, that's what
Mhm.
I.
just added Vecna from D&D. Not even a horror genre, but let's go. Cool.
Mhm.
And that's what me and Larry were talking about when we were playing a little bit. I was like, it'd be really cool if they did like boss battles where you get to fight like JoJo. Like you have
Yeah.
different versions of the game where you can like you do an offensive as a survivor, survivor offensive, or like survivor, you know, escape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that too. It almost puts you in that position of having something like like in Overwatch when you're, you know, trying to control an area, right? And like, you've got the Terenzi brothers ice cream truck that is a last ditch escape for the survivors. Like you should have JoJo popping
Hmm.
up also to kind of like do some massive damage. And like if a survivor is trapped by that, I mean it could be hilarious and also like a good consequence. Just like it's clown apocalypse essentially.
Hmm.
But like if there was another avenue, like that'd be neat, I think too. But I mean, that gets into balancing, that gets into all kinds of different things that I just truly I don't care too much about. I just want it to be fun,
Hmm.
however that's gonna be. So, because that's me too. Like I'm not Aaron, I'm kinda with you in the sense of like the genre isn't really what dragged me. It was like, all right, clowns, I'm loving it,
Right.
you
Too
know?
many, but there are too many places to hide. Clowns cannot open doors for some reason.
Yeah, you can.
I was having the hardest time trying to follow a guy. He would just shut the door on me, and I couldn't get in. I was
Oh,
hitting E on it all day.
he was playing that Dead by Daylight style. He kept slamming the door on you. He kept like probably spamming it and it
It
kept
it,
you
it,
from opening
it
it.
wouldn't even give me the press E to open door. It wouldn't even give me that.
Maybe it was a broken door. I don't know. I opened and closed doors on myself because I
Maybe
would
it was,
tap it twice and it would it would
I
like close on me.
it just got to the point where I stopped trying to use doors. I was just like, maybe we can't open doors as clowns.
I actually will have to double check that because I thought I could because I was playing when I was playing private and just like practicing and trying things out. I think I could, but I might be mistaken. I don't know. But yeah, some of the clownalities were great.
Yeah.
I like unlocked like the pizza box one, the pies, and those are fun. Like just being able to dunk on someone that way is fun, and I got dunked on a bunch too. So, but it's just a neat way that's different from it kind of takes a page from Friday the 13th in that sense, where you get the cinematic kills.
I will say the resurrection machine is a straight rip of the generator from Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, well, the mechanics of like opening things or taking cotton candy off, it's all Dead by Daylight. It's literally the same thing, you know. So what can you do? This is the type of game it is. So it didn't iterate very freshly on some of these mechanics.
Yeah. But it is a very fun game, and if you guys are listening and you want to try and have like a fun time with a game, just like casually play. I think it's a good casual player.
Yeah, for $40, like a casual game to pick up, and maybe even get together with a group of friends to be able to play and kind of goof off and have fun with it. Like, sure, absolutely. This isn't a game for somebody who wants to be a pro gamer. Like, no,
Oh man,
no.
could you imagine? Could you imagine like a year down the road, like esports Killer Clowns?
Like, no, no,
No.
I don't see that. Like, the subject matter is a joke because it's clowns, and that can never be taken seriously like that way. Like, wait, never say never, because the world is a very surprising place. Anything else that you want to kind of put a bow in on Killer Clowns, Harry or Aaron? Any other thoughts? Any other words on that?
I think I pretty much touched on everything I wanted to touch on.
I think I'll be curious
All
to see
right.
where it goes if it has legs.
Yep. Legs that are in giant clown shoes.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that'll do it for today's show. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you liked hanging out with us, please just hit that follow button, rate us on your favorite podcast listening software of choice. A 5-star really helps us out, and it's free to drop that feedback. So it really helps spread the show. You can find all our links in the description below. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and smack that little bell to be notified when a new video posts. Until next time, game on. Sleep well.